Welcome to another episode of Business and Coffee with the one and only Mr. Omar Periu and myself, Carlos Estrada Vega. Guys, we appreciate that you guys tuning in today, and I know this is short notice for some of the texts you guys I saw that you guys, some of them were coming in already. But thank you for also taking the time. Today is going to be it's going to be packed with a lot of information, especially we're going to be hearing from Omar Periu about self development. You know, this is the man that is the king of self development. He teaches not only Fortune 500 companies, but also could teach you directly, one on one, and help you develop yourself and get you to the next level where you want to go in your career or your life. But today, let's talk about self development, how self development is affecting the current era, either as a family man, as a family woman, as a leader, as a business owner. I mean, everything today requires self development. Otherwise, you'll age out of everything that we do. What do you think, Omar? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing unbelievable, Carlos. Thank you for having me.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So how's everything? How's life in Miami?
Everything's great. Kids are good. It's sunny today and
Yeah.
beautiful day. Yeah, went for a nice walk, worked out. Just great day. Great, right?
What, and that's amazing too. Like, everybody that I see that are successful usually take the time to develop themselves, and one of those is health. Taking the time every morning just to for you to work out and be able to at least enrich your mindset, enrich your knowledge, learning from somewhere, learning something new every day keeps you fresh, right? Am I
Right.
correct when I say that? And why do you think that's something that is essential as a successful person today?
I think we're hit with a lot of negative influences.
Hmm.
They've said that you get 1,500 negative influences and impacts a day.
Wow.
1,500. So
Wow.
if we, work on self-development and listen to like whether it's the Bible, the Torah, you like to read, you like to
Hmm.
work out, you like to listen to music, you like to listen to audios. Like I listen to other motivational speakers.
Got it.
Sometimes I listen to myself, but I like to listen. I got good stuff. But
You know what?
but I,
That's funny enough that you say that. Sometimes listening to yourself, and sometimes listening to yourself, you actually want to become better, right? You also
right,
want to strive to be a little bit better than what you were yesterday. Because if you continue in the same path, eventually you're gonna die, right? And I'm not saying that
yeah.
Omar Perio is dying. Omar Perio always wants to better himself, right?
No, no, yeah. In fact, I learned from a lot of my mentors, but Brian Tracy used to always say to me, I met him when I was 19 and a half, a long time ago. And he'd
Yeah.
say, oh my, your goals become better every day, become better every day, become better every day. And he'd always tell me that. And he says, you want to, everything you do, it's a domino effect, become better. He said, oh my, become better at taking the dry cleaning in. Everything you do, because one
Yeah.
discipline leads to another. So he gave me some great advice as a young man.
Amazing, amazing. And now I'm taking that advice. For everybody that doesn't know, Omar Peru is also one of my mentors. And this guy actually steers me right and pull my head out of my own behind every once in a while. But Omar, let's talk about self-development. What is self-development and why is it important?
Well, self development is something that you don't learn in school, right?
Mhm.
So, self development is when you can have the discipline, and I love that word discipline, the ability to give yourself a command and follow it, right? Discipline. It's one of my
Yeah,
favorite words. But I believe that, since we aren't taught self discipline, self development in school, that you've
yeah,
got to find it outside. And that's why I love, you know, podcasts, seminars, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all that
yeah.
stuff, because you can learn about self development,
Hmm.
YouTube, all that good stuff. But it's really important that everyone gets on board for self development because if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Growing design,
So
yeah.
the key is to keep growing every day. If not, you're dying. And I do it myself. People always say to me, well, do you still listen to all that stuff? I said, yeah, I do. I listened like this morning. I listened to Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret, part one and two.
Yeah.
Right. I love hearing that message. You become what you think about most, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah. No, you know what? And how, I mean, we talk about self development, and sometimes, don't get me wrong, because have found myself into that rut sometimes of I want to better myself, but sometimes we get so caught up into our own daily schedule, our own daily lives. And I'm not trying to say that some of us has it easier than others, but there's always time that we can carve out or a plan that we can develop or engineer in order to self-develop. I mean, it'd be amazed. Like 2 weeks ago, I had to sit down and say, I consider myself a good time manager, but I had to sit down and say I'm slacking. I have to be honest with myself, be able to see what I was doing in which I was wasting time. And a little thing that actually, and I'll tell you, this actually multiplied my sales in the past 2 weeks by 100%. By just carving out 15 minutes on every hour and be able to say from here to here in this pie, I'm only going to make calls and I'm going to make sure that my guys are making call. Our effort and our development and our output has been so much, about 100% of what we usually do. So how can a person today, and again, this is completely different than sales. Somebody maybe may want to say, how can I become a better father, better mother? How can I become a better businessman or woman? How can a person engineer a plan today with everything that's going on beside what I just said in order to start self-development today and also develop themselves to a future person, to that one hero that we all should be, right? My
Right,
hero is myself in a year from now. So how
right.
can a person develop themselves to strive to be that?
Well, Warren Buffett says all the time that we all get the same 24 hours. It's what you do with the 24 hours. So I really think that you have to structure your day, time blocking,
Time block.
activity, like, time blocking, like you just did for 15 minutes doing that.
Yeah,
I think everybody needs to have a schedule and you have to stick to that schedule. Sometimes things will happen and it'll derail it, but that's
of
called
course.
you being human. But you have to look at what you're doing and time block everything. So
Mhm.
time block activities and time management's one of them because most people don't realize that the people that get the most done, the organizations that get the most done, are the ones that are managing their time and territory. Because you got to manage your time. People don't think of time management and territorial management as self development, but it is. People think it's all about the mind, the mindset, which it is. But
Right.
you've got to practice different things for self development. Like, for instance, time management and territorial management, right? You got to master the power to influence and persuade. You got to learn sales skills, influence. Everything's about influence. Everything you do every day, everywhere you go, you are either being motivated by someone or you are
Mhm.
motivating them by influence, communication.
Wow.
And then number three is the success principles, which we'll get into some more.
So you either develop yourself to block the negative coming in, or the negative will actually make you who they want you to be, right?
Right. Yeah. I
Actually,
mean,
and I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Go
whether
ahead, go
you're
ahead, go ahead, Omar.
thinking, like from Think and Grow Rich, they said, uh, whether you think you're right, you're right. Whatever you
You're right.
think, if you think it is stinking, as Zig Ziglar used to say, if you think it is stinking, then you're going to have shitty results. If you think it is great and you're thinking great seeds and greatness, then you're going to have better results. So the key is no matter what's going on, it's not your circumstance, it's how you react to your circumstance that makes a difference.
Wow. So everything starts mentally, right? You need to
Absolutely.
decide. You need to decide the plan. So one of the things that actually I've been able to work on myself, and I've seen the people that actually work around us also, is one of the main things that have helped us is that we identify where we need work, right? You need to be honest with yourself first. You need to be able to decide not to take action and then go out and acquire that skill or learn that skill or have someone to help you, because we always talk about having mentors, right?
Yes.
Mentors are one of those people that will take you from point A to point B the fastest way, because they've been there, done it, seen the bad, the good, and the ugly, but they're able to steer your way to where you need to go. Now, in that same concept, What are some of the self-development activities that a person today, let's talk about business today, because you could self-develop in so many areas of your life. What are those some of the activity that a person can take today to become a sufficient, successful, striving to be the best type of businessman or woman?
Yeah, well, first of all, you've got to really have a protective mindset because in times like this, there's going to be a lot of media, a lot of internet, a lot of things talking about, recession, interest rates, which is all true. But that ain't going to help you. So what I do is I watch in the morning. I watch about 30 minutes, and then I never look at it again. And I'll tell you why. Because if you keep doing that, you start repeating the same negative stuff. So I want everyone to protect your mind and
Yeah,
protect your mind. My mentor used to teach me to get into a positive shield, right? You go like
politics.
zip, zip. I am now my positive shield, right?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Get yourself into a shield and make sure that you know that there's going to be negativity coming at you. That's the first thing. The second thing is, like you said, work on yourself. You got to
Mhm.
work harder on yourself than you do on your dreams. Put yourself under a pressure cooker. My mentor Tom Murphy told me, you're a diamond in the rough, and a diamond is formed underground under tremendous pressure. Put yourself
Yes.
under tremendous pressure to become that beautiful diamond. The more
Yeah.
pressure you put yourself under, the more of a beautiful diamond you can become. So you have to put yourself under pressure. I think that people make too many excuses. There's people that get results and
Yeah.
people that make excuses. So you can't make excuses for number one, your mindset.
Hmm.
There's great stuff on YouTube, seminars, Zooms, podcasts, us, right? We'll feed you great stuff all the time. So you've got to feed your mind and your body because your mind feeds your body
Yeah.
positive stuff every day, every day, every day, every day. And then
True.
after that, you've got to, realize that there's skills that you need. And there's different skills for different economies that you have to master.
Awesome. You see that was the alarm going off. I needed to make calls.
There you
so,
go.
so you see, guys, we talk. We not only we talk the talk, but we walk the walk. That's amazing. You know what? And something, and as you say that, something else came to mind. A lot of people don't really want to go through the whole process because they don't love what they go through. It is very uncomfortable for you to grow. It is very uncomfortable for you to develop yourself. It is a tedious job, but as long as you do the small things daily, constantly, consistent, you'll see the whole process. It's like in the Marine Corps we had a saying is like when we went through a lot, enjoy and love, embrace the suck, embrace the suck because it's going to suck. But what I'm telling you is, as long as you embrace the process, there's going to be a success, right? An end goal, a result that eventually you are going to get, and you are gonna look back. You're gonna say that was nothing. Like the stuff that I had to go through in the military, the type of trainings, it was like today I look at it, I'm like, I was crazy about going through the whole process. But you know what?
Right.
I enjoyed it throughout the whole process. I only had one mentality: was I'm not going to quit. I am going to enjoy the process, and by every time that I that and every time that I did that, by the end, it was so much sweeter. The results that we were able to gain accomplish was, we look back, it was like, well, it was really nothing. It was well worth it, and that's what we're trying to say today. Self development is not something that is going to be easy, but it's something that we need to embrace, and we need to develop a love for it, right?
Yeah, and retired General Colin Powell was a dear friend of mine. So was
Hmm.
General Schwarzkopf. And
Hmm.
he would always say, if you work harder on yourself during the tough times, when the good times come, life will become relatively easy.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you put yourself under a pressure cooker right now, because everybody's talking about the food prices, which they are up, gas prices,
Yeah.
which they
Yeah.
are up, interest rates, which they are up. Everything's up, right? And it hasn't hit us yet, but it's going to. And when it does, I want everybody to be ready. And the way you're ready is by working on the skills that you need to work on to become successful. So again, master the power to influence and persuade, because a great sales person will make money in all times. Number two, look for winning opportunities. Like, I think it's going to be a great time for real estate. I think it's going to be a great time to buy businesses. I think it's going to be a great time to scale, get bigger, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you got to look at. And you, of course, time management, territorial management, but you really have to tell yourself, you gotta go to the next level. You can't stay where you are right now. If you want to become successful, you got to grow. And until you tell yourself, I'm going to grow, because everybody's, thinking they're growing, but they're not. They're stuck in a rut. They're doing the same shit every day.
Yeah.
They do the same stuff. But, look, I have a routine. I get up, but I'm in a place in my life where I can do that. I get up, I eat my handful of almonds with my coffee, go to the gym. I'll come back. I have my oatmeal. I get ready. I do calls all day. I work with many businesses that I have, but I listen. I make time for eating right, eat right. Got to eat healthy, right? You got to get sleep. Got to get good sleep. It's funny. The gentleman, don't quote me. He's a great player. He won the World Series. They won the World Series. The Houston Astros this week. And he said, what they asked him, what is the main thing that he gets, that he tells people to do to be successful in sports or in anything? And he said, I get plenty of sleep. That's what he said. He's a guy that's married to Kate Hudson or something. Kate Upton, yeah. And he said, he's on the internet saying, hey, they interviewed him on TV. I get plenty of sleep. I get plenty of sleep, because sleep is good for the body. That's how you heal it. So what I'm saying to everybody, you got to eat right, got to sleep, you got to get your mind right. And don't let circumstances control you. You control your circumstances. When something goes wrong, and it will, don't talk like people that are unsuccessful. And they talk like this. They talk like this. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with them? That's how they talk. That's how unsuccessful men and women talk, right? And corporations, by the way, companies. But if you want to be successful men and women and organizations talk like this. Who is going to do what, when, how much, and how fast?
That's true. That's true. And that's what T. Harv Eker said. Don't embrace that victim mentality. Because that's what people do. They become victim. This happens to me. Why is it happening to me? Not taking responsibility. I mean, things are always going to happen. Just figure out how you can make it better. And that's how you develop, you actually develop situations in which you could create wealth. Right? Isn't that every time that you find a solution to a problem, that's when people have created massive amount of wealth.
Yeah, that's why I coined in my books that in the sales books and negotiations, become a PPS, professional problem solver. Become a PPS. If people will pay you for being a professional problem solver, because not everybody can solve problems.
Awesome.
But if you my mentors always told me, you should be a person that no matter what they say to you, you say, I can do that. And if you don't want to do it, find out how.
Find out how.
Be a PPS. Awesome. Professional problem solver.
So you know what? Now we hearing about the recession coming in, and I know that a lot of people say in one way, no, it's not going to happen. A lot of people say, people that like you've been through a couple of recessions, and you've seen the trend, and you see what's really happening in the economy. And you said it. You touch on it, fairly quick. Some of the skills that you need to start developing is one, sales. Become a great salesman. And also make sure that you start getting some way, somehow saving or learning about real estate. Right? Can you go more in depth into that? Why those are one of the main skills that someone must have, even though that you are doing something else, and why is that a good skill to have in a recession?
Well, one of the great skills you need to master besides sales is understanding vehicles. So a vehicle is cyclical. So right now, as you know, real estate was through the roof. So people were buying real estate without even looking at it and overpaying 20-25%. Now there's an adjustment going on. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of real estate that's going to be, get people going to get rid of it. Even some of these big corporations that were buying a lot of properties, they're going to be dumping them. Last week, I read, I won't mention the name, that one company alone in Phoenix area alone is getting rid of 1,500 properties that they
Wow.
overpaid for, for $100,000 less to start with, right? So I want everyone to look for these vehicles. I think real estate is going to be a great way. I think short sales, foreclosures, wholesaling. I think after you get that adjustment,
Yeah.
by the end of next year, find fix and flip, right? And remember, most people won't be able to buy a house anymore. So any of you that have the means, buy commercial real estate apartments because rents are going to go up,
Yeah.
and people are going to need to rent. So you look at any portfolio, including mine, it has rentals, apartments. You got to have that. Why? Because rents are part of the cyclical. You need to be more balanced in your investing, right?
Yeah.
Don't just throw your money into Bitcoin, even though I have money in Bitcoin. Don't
Yeah.
just throw your money into real estate, even though I have real estate. Don't
Mhm.
just throw your money into silver and gold, but diversify. So
Mhm.
when one's doing well, you have that little nest egg going, right?
Yeah.
Gold was at almost 2,000 an ounce, right? Now it's at
Mhm.
600, right? So
Got
we
it.
know that now you want to hold on to that gold because you hoping it comes back. Now silver was way down; it's gone way up.
Go
So
ahead.
hope bought a bunch of silver like I did. So I would. You really just got to look at the vehicles, what's going on, and that's like you said, Carlos, how a mentor like myself, who
Yeah.
still talks to his 88-year-old mentor
Yeah.
in California, and that guy's a genius, and he's a very wealthy man. And
That's
so a lot
awesome.
of my mentors, like Brian Tracy, and
Yeah.
um, Tom Hopkins, and Bob Proctor, we just lost, a great man.
Yeah.
Of course, Zig Ziglar was another one of my mentors, and who we lost, and Jim Rohn, and those kind of guys. Dr. Maxwell Maltz. So for me, is learning from people around me, and like one of my friends says, be the dumbest person in the room. And what that means is you're not the dumbest person in the room. You're the one that asks the most questions.
The most questions, right?
Asking the questions and listening is the one that's getting the most out of that room. So again, you find the vehicle that works for you. I am going to be looking for real estate
Yeah.
deals, and I'm going to be looking for businesses to buy. There's a lot of baby boomers, you guys, that are ready to step away from the business. Now listen, they want to step away, but they still want to work. They still want to work there. So what you do is you buy the business with keeping them, helping you run the business,
Yeah.
teaching you the business, and you keep them there for as long as they'll stay, pay them, and basically they're running the business with you. But there's going to be a lot of opportunity for that because a lot of baby boomers are going to want to walk away and enjoy their life.
So, guys, you hear that, right? Omar Periu is looking for businesses. Is looking for real estate. So, if you have businesses, you have real estate. If you know businesses on real estate, you know who you need to get in touch with. Omar Periu.
Ideas,
Definitely.
ideas, ideas. Like as you know, I'm partners with Kevin Harrington and James Mayo and the SOS Hydration, and
That's
of course
awesome.
Kevin with Celsius. And there's other things that can make you money,
Yeah.
not just real estate, not just buying businesses, but products. There's a lot of great products out there. Unfortunately, most products don't make it because number one, they don't have enough money, and
Money.
number
Yeah.
two, they're not well structured, so they can go out and start making sales.
And that's when we come in. So we could talk about more about Estrada Vega Capital, but we could help you get the capital you need for your business. Now, let's keep talking about self-development. Um, so 9 things that I researched, and actually I did this in one of my theses when I was going through my master's for organization leadership, and we're talking about self-development. And I remember we're talking about this. I'm like, let me go back and actually find. So it was 9 things that I found that I researched that happened to you when you self-develop. So number one, and feel free to actually step in and add to it. But self-development allows you to one, grow your mindset. Obviously, you're gonna learn about yourself. You're gonna learn about your surroundings. You're gonna learn about your business and everything else that you're doing because you
Yeah.
are now yearning to learn. You have an open mindset to be able to be coachable, but also learn from others. What were you gonna say?
One of my friends, John Maxwell, who I named my boy after Maxwell,
Mm,
um, he talks about the law of the lid. And he said the
mm,
key is the law of the lid is your learning capability.
yeah,
So most people from 1 to 10 are a 1. And what you want to do is raise your lid every day, right? He calls it the law of the lid.
yeah,
And the law of the lid is self development determines your lid. So you have to work on growing in all areas of your life so your
yeah.
lid grows every day, right?
True.
So they say that, Carlos, that most people work on only 10% of their capacity. They do.
Mm,
And most people do. So if I could make a recommendation to everybody, is to learn to live above that line, no matter what. Every
yeah.
day, live about that above that 10% line and keep raising your lid.
Yeah. So and think about that too. Now, when you talk about the lid too, I cannot take the people below me further than what I'm already at. I cannot
Right.
teach them further. So if I want my people to also develop employees, followers, anyone that you have, anybody that you want to also develop, you need to develop yourself because
Right.
I cannot teach what I don't know, right?
Exactly. And you know what? That's what people don't get. The beauty about self development is the better you become, and hopefully you learn all these great systems that now you can drive it down into your organization because your organization, your culture is what you're creating with self development.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So number two, you by self-developing, you gain the ability to think like an entrepreneur. And in that, you also allows you self-development allows you to stay calm under stress. The
Right.
best leaders that I saw in war were the people that knew the process on how we needed to do battle drills, everything that we needed to do because they did it and they knew it back and forth. That this didn't matter what happened. We were on the fire at all times. Enemy was coming in. The leaders that kept a calm head at that moment were able to were the ones that were able to save lives. And I
Well,
believe it's the
that's
same thing
why
in business.
yeah, and that's why I love being one of the 4 approved trainers for the U.S. Army recruiters,
There we go.
because when I go to the forts, I see men and women training every day, right? Why are they training every day? Preparation, right? Perfect
Mhm.
practice. So when
Perfect
you're
practice.
prepared, you know what to do when it's coming at you, right?
True, true.
Or if, whatever you're doing. So the key is to practice perfect practice, not just practice. Because,
Mhm.
we all go to the gym and we see people working out wrong. Or
True.
you see somebody jogging. I saw a woman jogging today. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to hurt herself. She was running like, like totally off her body, her posture, everything. And I'm like,
Yeah,
because, I work out. I used to own health
yeah.
clubs. Like, I know she's going to get hurt and end up, being hurt or injured or going to a chiropractor or something because she's running wrong. So it's not just doing it, it's perfect practice, right?
Perfect
And it's
practice. Yeah.
perfect practice, drill, and rehearsal.
And,
And you
and
know
and how do
that
you get perfect practice? By having someone else seeing what you're doing, right?
you got to,
Assessing, having somebody assess it that's already been there and teach you the proper way because sometimes we think we're doing something right. It's like and also Dr. John Maxwell talks about our blind spots. We may think that we're delivering something, and we're going to talk about communications in a little bit. The way that we communicate, we may think that we're communicating one way, but everybody is taking it some other way.
right,
And
right.
that's
And
one thing.
that's why communication is so important.
Mhm.
And if now we're talking about leadership. So if we're talking about
Yeah.
leadership, make sure that all the things that you do, like texts, emails, uh, DMs, uh, anything you do, make sure you're really clear on your picture, what you want to
That's true.
convey. Because most people read what they want out of an email, out of a text, out of all of that. So you want to make sure because people have forgotten to communicate, talk to each other. So
Yeah.
if we don't do that. We send emails, and you read the email the way you interpret it. And if you interpret it wrong, it could be something. So be careful with your communication.
And you know what? Funny thing is, like, obviously, you know your thing because that was my next point. You need to develop a healthier relationship with your phone. Not only the way you use it, how you use it, and when you invest your time, but also how you communicate through it with
Right.
others. So
And
yeah,
never
so you,
give up.
go.
I have two lines, one for my business and one for my friends, like, right, and family. So those lines, I know who's coming in, right, and I can see it, and so I do that on purpose. And I
Yeah,
also have my staff that has a line, so I do that because I want to know, what I'm dealing with. If it's personal, is it friends, is it business? And the reason I brought that up is
yeah,
when you're time blocking, like if you're going to be making phone calls, like you said, for 15 minutes, in my
yeah,
health clubs, I made people make 100 phone calls a day, 100 phone calls a
yeah,
day, right? 100 phone
hmm,
calls a day. And they would have to do it a certain time. So we know that in the health club business, you go, you open, there's people there, and then you have to do that. So they would
yeah,
they would make 100 phone calls to get 10 appointments a day. So then they have 10 tours to give to sell memberships, right?
yeah,
What is
uh-huh,
your number? Everybody needs a number. Everything can be broken down to numbers. If you want to make
correct.
$1 million a year, and maybe you don't, you know that all you do is find someone else making $1 million a year
Yeah,
in your vehicle and model what they do. If
yeah,
you want to make 10 grand a month and that's what you want to make, then find somebody in your industry, in your business, making 10 grand a month and do what they do. And
sure.
say to them, hey, what do you do? Well, I make 20 calls a day. Great. How many sales do you make a day? I make 2 sales a day. How many days do you work? I work 6 days a week. Oh, shoot, I only work 5. Oh, okay. And what are your hours? Oh, I get up early. I'm an early bird. I get up early and I go till 3:30, and then it's family time for me. Oh, okay. All right. So now you know you've got how many calls they make, how many sales they make, their hours they work, how many
Yeah.
days they work. So now you know exactly what that man or woman does to make that 10 grand a month. So it's all about modeling and numbers.
So the three M's, right?
Yeah,
Model, mimic, and master.
right.
So that's what you got to do. Now let's move on to the next the next point. As we develop ourselves and we become resilient, that's one of the things. You become resilient as you learn what to expect and how to react towards everything. Because as we talked about, that the process is not going to be easy. If you want to
Right.
get somewhere, nothing is. It's not business is not going to be easy. Let's just put it that way. But it could be very rewarding if you know what to expect and you prepare yourself mentally. But at
Yeah.
the same time, you need to stay mindful in the moment, right? You need to
Yeah.
assess what's going on and be able to figure out because of what you're learning and the people that you have around you. Remember, the sum of the people that you have around you will dictate your net worth, right? Same thing
Yeah.
with,
You have
with,
to
with,
be,
with
I always tell people it's okay to be strong, but you got
Mhm.
to be flexible,
Got it.
right? We all know that the greatest wrestlers or fighters have the defense. They know how to defend,
Hmm.
right? It ain't about the offense, it's about the defense, right? I
Yeah,
wrestled in high school and college. In wrestling, we were taught counters. So when somebody came at you, the person that had the most counters was going to end up pinning the person
got
because
it.
you were working on the defense, right? And you know all about that from being in the
Yeah.
military. But I
Hmm.
really think that people don't understand it. Nothing goes the way you think it's going to go. It never does, and
Yeah.
it never will. So be strong and flexible, and be flexible enough to move with the times. Whatever is going on, just go with it.
Yeah.
Go with it. It's kind of like my son and I, we go racing, and we go racing. We race cars,
Right.
and my son always goes, "How do you get that?" Because he rides in the car with me. We race at tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes, "How do you get through these cars so easy? It's like you're not even feeling." I says, I glide through it because I feel what their move is going to make, so I could go by them and leave them in the dust. And the
That's
way
all.
you do that in life, you make sure you're strong and flexible, glide
Yeah.
through the different difficulties, avoid the quicksand and the pitfalls. And the key is to make, and this is very important for everybody, Carlos, make more better choices.
Wow.
Yeah. So my mentor, Tom Murphy, taught me this thing called the life track. Your life track is your life, right? And then there's a place when you come to a fork in the road, let's say right here, right? and that's called Mat, moment of truth. Mat.
Moment of truth.
Right?
Got it.
At that moment, you got two choices: positive conscious success decision or a negative conscious success decision. Positive conscious success decision or negative. So when you come to the moment of truth, pause and think, if I do this, I'm going to go backwards, toward away from my goals, what I want to
Yeah.
achieve. If I do this, I'm going to move towards it. Let's talk about health. Let's say you're going to go and have lunch now, right? After we're done. Not you, somebody, And you, instead of going to get yourself a salad or a piece of chicken or something healthy, or, you're going to go to McDonald's, which I like McDonald's once in a while.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I haven't been in a long time, but
Yeah.
their fries are amazing because I remember.
Yeah.
But my kids used to go a lot. So anyway, if you go, let's say you go to McDonald's and you eat a Big Mac and fries and milkshake, you're about 3:30 going to go down.
Yeah.
So you made three bad choices
Mhm.
that are going to move you from being productive the rest of the day. So instead, let's say it's lunchtime, you go and you get yourself a nice wrap, healthy wrap, or
Yeah.
a nice salad, and you drink a protein drink or a juice, right?
Yeah.
Now you
Uh-huh.
have energy. So the difference is the choices you make at the moment of truth. Is it a conscious success decision that's positive or a negative conscious success decision? Every choice will move you towards or away from what you want. And my thing is to teach people how to make more better choices.
And now let me ask you something. And we are human, like you said before, too. And sometimes we make bad choices. Is it okay to make bad choices, but be able to learn, assess them, and learn, and get back into the right trail that is going to take us where we need to go?
Absolutely. Nobody's perfect.
Okay.
There's nobody that's perfect. Don't expect perfection. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
All
And
right.
we're all
So,
going to make mistakes. And sometimes
yeah.
the thing that you want to do is learn when you make a mistake to not do it again. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I
Mhm.
teach my kids and my students. When you make a business mistake or you make a mistake, don't beat yourself up. Just tell yourself, until now I did it this way. From this moment on, I will do it that way. And learn from it. Learn from
Yeah.
it. Learn from your mistakes and learn that you're not going to be perfect. Nobody is. Don't
Got it.
expect perfection because you'll be miserable the rest of your life.
So that means if you went ahead and got a Big Mac for lunch, you could still have a salad later on and get back into track, right?
Absolutely. Remember, you're only one choice from being
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
Right? So if you make one bad choice, you're away from your life track. But
Yeah.
then the next choice, you eat a salad, you're back even. The key is now you're even. Now, do
Yeah.
you keep going up or do you keep going down? Right?
Gotcha. And you know what? And
No.
that takes me to the next level. On in final from self development. When you self develop, you also take care of your health, as we talked about. And I know that you have a story that you have said it to me that you could be successful, but if you don't have health, you cannot
Yeah.
enjoy the fruits of your labor.
I know
So,
billionaires. I know
so
billionaires that have been
yeah,
on their yachts. Yachts that we would all go crazy over 225 feet, 275 feet. Yachts, their own yachts, billionaires. And I know it's one gentleman, a few of them, and ones can't even get up. They have to help him up because he never took care of himself. So
yeah,
to get rich and sick is stupid. And I tell everybody that. To get rich and sick is stupid. Make sure you take care of your body and make
Mhm.
sure that you exercise, eat right, and keep a positive mindset. Nobody's going to be positive all the time. And don't
yeah,
expect to be happy all the time because nobody is. And if
yeah.
you see somebody that acts that way, they're a little nuts, obviously, right? So, 'cause people like that. How you doing? Unbelievable. Hey. But they're broke. They're broke. They haven't made a
I
I
know.
know people like that in my health clubs. I'm like,
Yeah,
hey, give me 5. Hey, bro. Hey. And then I'm like, dude, go put that energy into making some money,
that's
you
true.
know,
That's true.
for your family and yourself.
So self-development. So all of the skills that you develop, and we usually want to do that makes us a better person, better man and woman, better business person. But one of the essential skills that I've seen that are very key to become successful in business is communication.
Right.
How can one develop a better communication skills? How can someone start from I'm not too sure if I could speak to people to hey, I'm the one that man this, I'm the one that is teaching today, I'm a mentor.
Yeah. So the whole thing is it's all in books and audios and videos. So, for
Yeah.
instance, not to brag about my book, I think my book, Investigative Selling, is a tremendous sales book. And what it
Why not
teaches you,
brag about it? Let's brag about it.
no, but my negotiations course, my
Yeah, yeah,
investigative selling book, the 1 minute meeting will teach you how to present and run meetings and
yeah,
present. But I think that the investigative selling is what do investigators do? Well, first of all, they leave the house, right? Now, some of you work behind a computer, that's fine. But
yeah.
here's what investigators do. Number one, they ask a lot of questions. Yes? They listen. They take good notes. They take down everything. They gather information. They come up with a solution and they come back and close the case, close the sale. So that's why I came up with investigative selling because in music, I studied opera. And in music, not only do you put on the outfits, they have a set, you learn the language, you learn a song, you become that person with
Wow.
makeup and clothes and all that. Well, the best way to become a salesperson, if you're not great at it or if you want to become better, is to put on the investigator's personality. And like personalities, think of any great investigator. Columbo, right? The Pink Panther, Murder She Wrote, I forget her name.
Yeah.
Any of those shows, the greatest CSI, all those shows that are on the best, the best, the best, um, the best salespeople are the ones that ask great questions, listen, gather information, come back with a solution, and close the case, close the sale, and get referrals.
Awesome,
And
awesome,
hello,
awesome.
somebody says hello. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. So we got a couple people coming in now saying chatting. So Chef Flaba says hello. Jennifer
Hello.
also says hi. Love the
Hi.
content. All right. So finally, Omar, if let's just say somebody's listening to this stream today or even later on in the video, um, and they have a question saying, okay, well, how can I develop myself? There's something coming around the corner. What is the fastest way for me to develop myself? And what can I do today in order to start this whole journey?
The first key is awareness.
Mhm.
Be aware, and then jot down all the things you need to to make that business come to life.
Yeah,
So, right? So it could be sales. They're also always sales. Sales is always
yeah,
in everything. But customer service, leadership, hiring the right people, very
mm,
important. You know, I tell
yeah,
people if you hire correctly, you'll be happier than if you just hire because you need to hire. Hire correctly, right? So
yes,
there's so many things, Carlos, to talk about, whether it's personal, business, being a father, a mother, a son,
yeah,
a daughter, a grandfather, um, whatever it is. You got to look at what you want to do. What are the ingredients? You know, Zig
yeah.
Ziglar used to say to me all the time, God gives you the ingredients. You have to make the bread, right? So he's telling you, he's giving you the ingredients. If you were talking about making bread, you always we talked about a lot of things. And he says, if you want to make the bread, God gives you the ingredients. That's how life
Yeah,
is, right? Right?
yeah.
So, so you got to
Uh,
just look at what you want to do, lay it out, and find out what you need to make that happen. Like for you, you're a great salesperson,
yeah,
but you keep working on becoming better, right?
correct. Yeah.
Your social media, everybody's working at it, including myself, yourself.
Mhm.
We're all working at becoming better at social media if you're in
Correct. Yeah.
business,
Of
because
course. Yeah.
you have to be great at social media to be in business nowadays.
Yeah. Because
I
I
use
mean,
Go
and
ahead.
we talked about communication too. I mean, that's a good way to actually for you to communicate with your potential client, with your potential customer. They need to know who you are. They need to trust you too. And part of communication is trust. If
Right.
they see you out there and you put, I mean, if you're in business, if you're not in social media, then you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Right.
Right
And
now,
most
if you,
people, look, I'm working on it. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm working on building my Instagram and
Of
Facebook,
course.
and LinkedIn, and all that. But I need to do more. Like when I
Hmm.
talk to people like my friend Kevin Harrington,
Yeah.
or a gentleman that works with him, Brandon, who's a real great at content.
Yeah.
He's amazing, and he talks about content. Kevin talks about content. Kevin
Yeah.
talks about, I've known Kevin, he's a dear friend for many years,
Uh-huh.
and he said for all these years he was making everybody else famous, and then he realized I needed to become a brand, so he became a brand, and that's why he's
Got it.
booked all around the world and has all these products and services that he promotes. So you can learn a lot from these folks like Kevin and Brandon, a lot of these young folks, and they
Yes.
really know what they're doing. You look at people like Grant Cardone,
Hmm.
Russell Brunson,
Hmm.
Bouchard, Brendan Bouchard,
Yeah, Brendan
all
Bashar.
man, they're like that's the future. You got to learn all that stuff, and I'm a dinosaur, man. I'm working at it.
I mean, you're doing great. You're doing great. I see your LinkedIn and I see your other platforms. They're kicking ass, man. You're
Yeah, I'm
doing
now an
great. You're doing great.
influencer at LinkedIn.
No, but I'll say I know what you mean. But hey, guys, I appreciate Omar today. And look, if anyone today wants, they say, okay, well now you got me thinking. Now I need to self develop myself. I need to figure out what I can do. How can they get in touch with you in order for them to start at least getting an assessment of where they need to be or where they can go, or even start working with you?
They can email info at omarperiu at gmail.com,
At
right?
gmail.com.
Or
So,
email me personally at
mhm,
Omar Periu, OMAR Periu at gmail.com.
at gmail.com or
Either.
info at omarperu.com.
Yeah,
Info at
Omar Periu,
omarperu.com. Got it.
OMARPERIU at gmail.com. That's my personal email. Or go on
Got
my
it.
website to learn more about me, omarperiu.com. But
Got it.
Omar Periu International, Omar Periu, I pop up. So
Yeah. So either or.
uh,
So omarperu.com or omarperuinternational.com. So remember, omarperu at gmail.com. And again, he's giving you his personal email. If you want
yeah.
to, if you want to actually hear
Yeah, I
from
mean,
the man.
if you email me, I will have my assistant send you out some
Awesome.
information, and then you can see if we're a good fit. Because you got to be a fit. You got to find somebody. People always say to me, Carlos, "Oh, I
Hmm.
want to work out. I want to be like you. I want to gain weight. I want to lose weight. I want to be
Yeah,
more." And I say, if you're going to find a personal trainer, find someone that's doing that looks the way you want to look.
that's true.
Because obviously they'll train you.
Yeah,
So for me, if you want to look at me, just check me out. Look
yeah.
at my website,
Uh-huh.
look at what people say. I have a great reputation, and yeah. So I mean, I have fun. I work with you. I work
Yeah,
with 7 top producers,
yeah, yeah.
and some people started with nothing, and now they're making 7 figures. Why?
That's awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
because I know the road. I know how to get there, right? And people bring me deals every day, so that's what I do. I have fun.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Like
And
this
thank
week,
you.
I'm with Les Brown.
Oh,
I'm
Les
speaking.
Brown, really?
Yeah, I'm speaking at his mastermind this weekend. So I'll be with him.
We should have him over for another, right?
Oh yeah, he's a great guy.
We should invite him to the podcast so he could talk
He's
to
a
him.
dear friend. He's wonderful. I'll be filming
Awesome,
with him this week. So.
awesome, awesome, awesome. But yeah, guys, don't forget that if you have any deals, business, real estate, Omar is also interested to actually partner up with you, or even if you want to go ahead and make a couple bucks on the side, always bring him. Make sure it's got to be a liable business or real estate. We're always looking for those type of properties as well. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Omar. I appreciate you actually joining in today and blessing us with all this wealth of knowledge, experience that you have over the years. Trust me, a lot of the questions that I ask for the public, for the audience, is for me too.
Thank you,
So,
Carlos. And thank you, everyone, for listening and watching.
all right, man. I appreciate it. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.